man. I'll stick to my conventional way of viewing God, I guess. Or whether you want to think it's conventional or not.
I think that you should become a Muslim.
You think I should become a Muslim?
Yeah.
Why should I don't believe in progressive revelation.
I bet you do.
How? Show me.
Okay. By the simple fact that you use rabbinic arguments post the Sanhedrin to introduce new mystical ideas into your theology shows that you believe in progressive revelation.
No, that's Deuteronomy 18. They have the right. They have the right to
institute law, but not mystical issues. And it's only in areas of dispute. How many times haven't you said, "This guy's a giant. This guy's a gadol," or "There's this mystical tradition"? You accept parts of Kabbalah, don't you?
Yes, of course I accept parts of Kabbalah.
So then that's progressive revelation.
How is that progressive revelation?
Because your revelation has progressed post Sinai.
No, correct? Okay. No, there's no laws being applied post Sinai. This is just
has nothing to do with law.
This is mystical imagination almost. We're looking
all right. So how does Islam differ from Judaism? Is it really on law or ceremonial practice and mysticism?
It leaves. First of all, Islam rejects the Torah as the ultimate authority. It violates the 13 articles of the Rambam.
That's not the basis of their progressive revelation, at least how you explained it before. Okay? Yeah. That means that the revelation has progressed. In other words, it no longer is only the Torah. Now it's gone a little further. So if you give the rabbis the authority,
where have they progressed away from Solomon?
Hold on. If you give the rabbis the authority to institute mystical ideas post Sinai, then you believe in progressive revelation also, which means
they didn't dump the Torah, dude. Kept the Torah.
All right,
haven't even touched it.
Okay, Christianity or Messianic Judaism should be perfectly fine with you because they also believe in progressive revelation via the New Testament, and they haven't dumped the Torah.
They dumped the Korbanot and the judges.
Messianic Jews have not dumped Korbanot. We just don't have a temple nowadays.
No, they dumped Korbanot. The Korbanot is JC,
right.
Or at least it should be to them.
Here, for the sake of argument, for those who haven't dumped the Korbanot,
then they should dump JC too, because JC.
Yeah, so their progressive revelation
you can't have them both. You either have Korbanot or JC.
So their progressive revelation is accepted in your eyes, then.
No, they're not. It's not accepted. They first of all, they dumped the court. They dumped the court. They dumped the court because JC's.
There's nothing wrong, in your opinion, with the progressive revelation practiced by Muslims if you're elevating rabbis to be authorities in mystical spheres.
If Islam was a sect of Judaism, then I would have to consider that.
All right, so the issue is not progressive revelation.
If Islam had a basis and Beis Din Gadol, then if Islam was born out of there, then I would have to really sit down and
so then the issue is not progressive revelation, but the origins of the religion.
Would have to analyze that. That's a good point.
I mean, it's not an issue that you have only. Orthodox Judaism in general, apart from just halacha, where they've introduced this idea of Das Torah, Ruach HaKodesh.
You have to even Christianity tries to have a lineage of transmission.
Transition, outside of transmitting the laws of the Sanhedrin, has no authority in Judaism.
The Ruach HaKodesh is inside of Tanakh.
For sure, but not in instituting new ideas.
Who's instituting? Well, they're instituting mystical ideas. It's
right.
It's philosophy.
That's progressive revelation. No, it's not.
Progressive revelation is something new is happening other than what we already knew.
That's Judaism nowadays. You know how many new ideas?
Show me what's new. Show me what's new other than what was explained to us in Sinai.
Are you kidding me? Just look.
Other than the whole shift from the other than the whole shift, there was
Kabbalah in general.
King.
Kabbalah and all the Gedolim nowadays teach Kabbalah like they're teaching Torah. They'll say Torah says, and they'll put
but how stupid is somebody to put Kabbalah at the same level of Torah?
Well, I mean, that's what they do.
The name itself, Kabbalah, says to receive. So it's
just a name, but it's philosophical. I mean, it's Jewish mysticism post the 12th century.
Yeah, but it's funny how you will you'll revere the Rambam, and the Rambam, even though he didn't have Kabbalistic thoughts, he had some mystical views of things.
I don't revere rabbis the way you revere rabbis. Okay, I mean I revere.
I know you don't, but it's
scholarship.
Yeah, but you think, like, for example, you would think that somebody who's that rational at that level, in that scholarship at that level, will come up with silly ideas. If you can say that about the Rambam, then you can say the same about yourself.
Absolutely. I mean, I never claimed to be infallible.
So like his rationale to you, you'll put his rationale at your same level of rationale?
Now you're comparing rationale with mystical ideas.
No, forget about mystical. Let's look at rationale. Because
I'm not elevating him for who you think he is. I elevate him for what we can verify.
Putting together a bunch of books without a computer, basically.
Saying because he did that, we should accept his mystical ideas as well.
No, I'm saying we should question them.
That's
Before getting rid of offense, look at it twice and find out why it was there.
The Rambam hasn't introduced any mystical offenses, at least that I'm aware of.
Midrashic ideas and things like that.
Well, then it's not his ideas. He's reiterating Midrashim in the Talmud that, as you know, are subjective.
What are you doing? You're grabbing the mystical things of the rabbis and you're making it seem like if they're adding on to the religion when they're really not doing that.
Right.
The Torah is silent on these issues.
I know they're not adding on to the religion because I believe it's subjective. But someone like you who gets so offended because I choose not to elevate a mystical idea that comes from these rabbis, that seems that the problem is with the way...
Because at the same time you'll do this, at the same time you'll elevate like Dennis Prager's worldview above your own, and how you end up. But then when it comes to like the Rambam or Rashi or any of these guys, you have like the biggest issue ever. Like you want to put them like as just like some, you know what I mean?
I disagree with Dennis Prager and many things, and anything he says, I question. Okay, and if I realize it makes sense, then I go with it. The way that you view rabbis is that you elevate them because they exist, but not for what they can bring to the table.
If Isaac Newton left some goofy idea written on a piece of paper related to physics, the physics of motion, which I use to design stuff, right? Before me calling it silly, I better sit down and like, this is the man who made the 3 laws of Newton. You get what I'm saying? This is what I used to design everything else. I gotta be very crazy before.
Idea is silly. I never said that.
No. If he wrote something silly, something that to my judgment is silly, that's what I'm saying. If Isaac Newton sat down and wrote down something silly regarding physics, I have to like really like before me disproving this, I have to give him the I have the burden to prove him wrong.
Okay.
That's what I said about the rabbis. When you talk about the Rambam, we're not talking about anybody. This is the Rambam, dude.
Okay. Now, we all have personal mystical ideas. If you have a mystical idea, I'm going to listen to it. Whether you're the Rambam, if it sounds silly to me, I'll say it sounds silly. But it seems that the batting average of the rabbis and mystical ideas, the batting average of rabbis and mystical ideas is not pretty good. So sometimes it's almost like a knee-jerk reaction for me to react the way I do because of the things they typically say. Torah is not that hard to understand, at least from the Peshat level. I have a video on every portion of the Torah, okay? If I ever come against a mystical idea, it's because I thought about the mystical idea, which is why I never say that all mystical ideas are silly. I never say that.
You just say all of Kabbalah is silly.
No.
And you say Kabbalah makes you dumb.
No.
You have a video literally called Kabbalah makes you dumb.
No. It makes you dumber. Believing in Kabbalah ultimately does not mean that every Kabbalistic idea is dumb. Heck, I mean, I wish reincarnation is true. Just because I know this world, because I know this world exists and not another world. That's a little more comforting, thinking that I'm going to be born at least to this world, not knowing what the next world is. But I have my reasons. But I don't view that every mystical idea is silly. I mean, there's some pretty mystical ideas, for sure. But there's some that I view as problematic and ultimately make you a worse individual.
But you're not only fighting the mystical idea, you're fighting even the spiritual ideas to a certain extent, to the point that is making your own admirers like uncomfortable with how like dry your view of God is.
I give these people a different way of looking at things, but they have to engage their mind to really feel it. Right? I mean, I don't typically just.
So you think I just turned off my mind? No. I checked my mind at the door because I fell in love with the rabbis.